How do I pronounce your name?
Okay, so my name is Chimbundon. Chimbundon.
Okay. Chimbundon.
Yeah. Yes, that is okay. Uba.
Ba. All right.
Yes, Uba.
Okay, so let's get started. That's so fun. You start with figuring out what does health look like for me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and work really hard on being good at you. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy life. Soul food. Point one. Okay.
Okay.
Love music, love life. You're listening to Soul Food on Smooth 98.1, and it's the show that discusses your health, your wellness, your overall fitness every Saturday from 8 till 8. And my name is Oluwaseun. This morning, we'll be discussing the topic of anemia, and you're welcome to join us. We have the WhatsApp line, we have the call line, but we also are streaming live on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Smooth 91 FM Lagos. Again, the YouTube channel is Smooth 91 FM Lagos. So when you subscribe, you should click on the notification bell so that anytime we go live, you can always see our notification and join the live stream. So that allows you to be a part of the chat by using the live chat option. So if you have any questions, any feedback, you can always be a part of it. That said, again, let's talk a little bit about some data. But before then, I have a dietitian as my guest this morning. She is Chimbundon Uba. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being my guest. I got the pronunciation right.
Yes, you did. Pretty much better, yes.
Okay, so I found some interesting things that were released by the World Health Organization in terms of anemia, which is one of the reasons we're talking about this. It says that about 800 million children and women are anemic, and it is estimated that roughly 43% of children, 38% of pregnant women, and 29% of non-pregnant women, as well as 29% of women of reproductive age have anemia globally. And if you come to the highest proportion of people who suffer from anemia, you have them in West Sub-Saharan Africa, you have them in South Asia, you've got them in Central Sub-Saharan Africa, and now Nigeria is one of those countries listed by the World Health Organization to have a severe burden of the disease, with about 40% of the population being anemic. I can imagine somebody saying, how did you come across the data? Well, we have to ask the World Health Organization.
Yes.
So that said, let's get to the basics to understand what anemia is, because it's a word that has been with us for so long. But what exactly is anemia?
Okay. Anemia, as we popularly called, is also popularly called the lack of blood. So it's a blood condition, a blood disorder. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. A blood condition in which a person lacks enough healthy red blood cells to carry out oxygen or to carry adequate oxygen to the body tissues. So here, in the blood, there is something called hemoglobin, which is a protein that is necessary in the blood for carrying oxygen to various parts of your body, and of course, taking out carbon dioxide. So in this case, there is so the red blood cells here are not enough. You understand? So that is basically what anemia is. So it could be a long-term condition, it could be a temporary condition, it could be mild, and it could be severe. So that is basically what it is.
Now we have different, I believe we have different types of anemia, and one very common one in Nigeria is sickle cell anemia. But I would like to
Yeah.
get into the different types of anemia, and then we talk about their causes.
Okay, so I think the most common one, yes, sickle cell anemia is, of course, a blood condition too. But right now, I'll start with the iron deficiency anemia, which is, of course, common, the most common kind of anemia. Or iron deficiency anemia is caused by a shortage of iron in the body. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm with you.
Okay. Okay. So here there is where there's an inadequate iron. And of course, when there's an inadequate amount of iron or inadequate iron in the body, it leads to a reduced production of hemoglobin. And because of this reduced production of hemoglobin, like I said earlier, the oxygen is not going to be carried to the tissues of the body. So inadequate iron leads to inadequate production of hemoglobin, and inadequate production of hemoglobin leads to insufficient amount of oxygen carried to body tissues. Then there is also the vitamin deficiency anemia. So we're looking at the pernicious or the megaloblastic anemia, the pernicious anemia. So this is, so like the name is, a vitamin deficiency kind of anemia. So now when it comes to anemia, there are other nutrients, or there are other, would I say, the nutrients, yes, needed for its production. So we're looking at the iron, we're looking at the folate, and of course we have the vitamin B12. So now in vitamin deficiency anemia, there is a deficiency of these two major nutrients in the body, such that maybe probably there is not enough consumption, or that the body isn't absorbing it in. So that is where you have the megaloblastic or pernicious anemia. Then, of course, we have the sickle cell anemia, which we talked about. So this is and no others are like food related. That's the iron deficiency and the megaloblastic, that's the vitamin deficiency. Now, this is a more serious, or a disease condition. So sickle cell is an inherited lifelong disease or a condition, like I said, of the blood. Here, like the sickle, so it comes, it's this shape. Instead of it being the normal, it's sickle. And because it's sickle, it's a sickle C-shaped kind of red blood cell. It contains abnormal hemoglobin. Do you understand? Like I said earlier, the blood, the hemoglobin, and of course the work of the hemoglobin. So now, because this blood is a sickle cell shaped, the hemoglobin produced are abnormal, and in turn, this sickle cell dies earlier, dies faster. So it dies faster, say within the 10 to 20 days. Yeah, so that is the length it takes for the sickle cells to die in the body. So, but however, normal red blood cell takes about 120 days. But now we're looking at something that occurs within 10 to 20 days. So that is where, and in the process of these destruction, the body is unable to replace these red blood cells, which causes anemia. So that is where the anemia for the sickle cell comes from. So the early destruction of the red blood cells and the inability of these cells to be replaced. You understand? Then there is another one, which is also inherited. These are diseases now, blood diseases, blood disorder. Thalassemia, it's called thalassemia, yes. So due to the, abnormal hemoglobin formation, the red blood cells here are small. The red blood cells that are produced here are small, and they can't carry enough oxygen. So, and these conditions ranges from mild to life-threatening. And in each of these, in this thalassemia condition, the body produces fewer healthy red blood cells. They are few, they are healthy, yet few. And because they are few, there is, of course, less hemoglobin to do the proper function that it should do. So that is thalassemia. And then we have the aplastic anemia.
Aplastic.
Yes, APLASTIC anemia. Yes, this is a rare and life-threatening kind of condition. Here the red blood cells are produced in the bone marrow of the body, and when it occurs, there is no, so it's like the body, okay, occurs in autoimmune conditions, like the body wanting to fight the red blood cells, or the body wanting to fight the marrows that produce these red blood cells. You understand? So that is where this condition comes from. Autoimmune condition is such that the body fights itself. Yes, instead of doing that which it should do, so it's doing something in the reverse. So this type seems to be wanting to fight the body. Do you understand? So that is where a plastic kind of anemia comes in. So let's leave it like that for now.
Okay, so I want to take you back to something you talked about when you were explaining sickle cell anemia, how the body is not able to quickly replenish the lost red blood cells. So I'm curious, how long does it take for the body to replenish the red blood cells that were lost or destroyed?
Normal red blood
on a normal, yes.
Okay, 120 days.
So once you make one red blood cell, it stays within 120, or it stays for 120 days
120
and until after.
Yes, so that is what it is in the normal body condition. So that is where you could see people with sickle cell anemia having some crisis, always looking anemic, because of course, before the body is able to replace that, it takes a long while. So yes, so it takes normally 120 days.
Okay, so now I'm further curious, so deeply intrigued about something. So what about women when they have their period? They lose blood every month, 28 days, 30 days, as the case may be.
Yes.
So what happens there in terms of replenishing?
Okay, so in terms of replenishing for the women without, of course, a health condition, so that is where you have your nutrients coming in. So while you are losing blood, given out, of course, through the menstrual, it's necessary to take in something to replenish. So at this time, you don't just eat because, of course, you just want to eat. You have to eat something that is really nutrient dense to replace what it is that is leaving your body.
Okay. All right, then. So if you have anything to say in the course of this conversation, WhatsApp line is still open. You've got 0809-444-0981. And then the call line is 01-448-9981. I'll tell you something I heard one time that cracked me up. I overheard the conversation. It was not directly to me. So the person was telling another person who was plus size that, you're plus size though, you must have a lot of blood. So it appears that you've not seen in a while. So the person says, if I dead weight, so you are definitely going to have a lot of blood. Does weight have anything to do with red blood cells?
Okay. Wow. Oh, actually, not exactly. Not exactly. So the body weight doesn't necessarily have much to do with the red blood cells. So what a person could be obese, could be fat, yet anemic.
Interesting.
Yes. So you could be fat, you could be obese, you could be slim, you could be, and yet anemic. So, and then you see somebody who is very slim, and of course the person is just very okay. So it has nothing to do with, they are both different sides of the coin. They are both very different. So somebody that is obese, or when we're looking at weight, for somebody that is red blood condition, we're looking at anemia. So they're different and has.
I'll tell you another thing another myth I think we need to bust. And I'm sure you've had to deal with it many times, but again, we'll do it.
All right.
Malt and milk. I am not sure who started that thing, but they, being a number of Nigerians, said that once you take malt and milk, it is blood tonic. Dietitian, what do you say to that?
Okay. For something to give you blood, or for something, it must have some properties, and malt and milk isn't one of them. So for people with okay, for malt now, let me say malt has sugars, and that is definitely so. In people with red blood cell anemia condition, you should limit your sugar intake, especially if you have not now the nutrient kind, but the disease kind of condition, in the sense that we could be looking at cancers, we could be looking at endometriosis. You understand? So you should actually limit your intake of sugar, and of course, not the milk. In the milk, there are sometimes when we'd actually advise, of course, you limit your intake of milk, especially those that take milk with medications. Those things actually bind, because milk contains calcium, so they actually bind on your nutrient, on the nutrient or the potency of that drug. So they are not, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. So that is a myth that, of course, should be busted, yes. So it doesn't do that. So actually, those are things that you should limit, especially the malt and the milk, when it comes to the blood condition.
So, dear Nigerians, malt and milk is not a blood tonic. It does not have the capacity to give you or help you produce red blood cells. I think they actually need to know that malt is soda.
Actually, it's soda. Yeah, it's not.
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because of the barley, the wheat. They think,
wheat.
oh,
Yes,
it is
helps.
soda.
Yes, actually, it's soda. You know, there was a time it was trending where people were like, "Is it because it doesn't do so that's why you think it's not soda?" So really, it's soda. It contains more sugar, and you know, malt and barley isn't really so sweet. So for it to be sweet to that, or for you to be able to consume it, you should be able to know the amount of sugar that has been put in place for it to be that good for you to consume. So really, it's not. It's not blood tonic.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll take a break, a breather actually, and when we come back, we continue with discussing anemia. That we've talked about the types of it, as well as we've actually not, well, while you were explaining the different types of it, you mentioned some of the causes, but we need to talk a little bit about the risk factors. Stay with us. You're listening to Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. And if you have any question, any comment, any feedback, WhatsApp line is 0809-444-0981.
98.1. Love music, love life. My name is IBK Spaceship Four. Spaceship Portal Music on Smooth 8.1. Love music, love life. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. I'm Kabam Zasuko. What comes to mind when I think about music? I think about melodies, harmony, rhythm, structure, lyrics. Music is everything I do. Music is walking, talking, breathing.
Okay, you were saying can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I wanted to ask you. You said your office is in Victoria Island. Do we have time? We are in Victoria Island.
Adeola Odeku.
Adeola Odeku. Okay, maybe I'll find my way. Maybe subsequently when I'm called, maybe I'll just come into the studio.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes.
All right, we're back.
All right.
Love music and love life. This is Smooth 98.1. And my name is Oluwaseun. 21 minutes past 8 o'clock, and we are discussing anemia. We've been busting some myth of anemia. For instance, we told you, by we, I mean me and my special guest, that is Chimbundon Uba. She's a dietitian, and she said that malt and milk not a blood tonic. And about weight, the body size, it has nothing to do with the blood, the amount of red blood cells that you have in your body. So that you are plus size does not exactly mean that you're going to have lots of red blood cells. And another thing to note is that you actually are taking soda if you say you're taking malt. So in case you feel no soda January, I'm only taking malt. Ha ha. Guess what? You've been taking soda because why did you think that it pops? Actually, that's
It does.
that's a fizzy drink. That's part of the
Yeah,
characteristic. So
yeah.
please be mindful of what you consume. Now let's talk about some causes or risk factors for anemia.
Okay. Okay, can I go on?
Yes, please go on.
All right. Okay, first, okay, so the basic or the one of the risk factors for anemia is insufficient or inadequate nutrient consumption. So, like I said earlier, during a time of the menstruation isn't just a time for you to just eat anything you want to eat. Now, I know there is a part of the cravings, but then it's also time. It's also good that you pay attention to what it is that you put in. So there is the inadequate or insufficient nutrient intake, which, of course, like you said, in this part of Nigeria, looking at the way it's going, people don't even have enough to eat in a day. So there is really no way that the body can actually see things to work with. And then when it sees it's in limited amount, and we also have women in pregnancy, within pregnancy age, who have given birth, and of course, those who are still recovering. So during the pregnancy period, or during childbirth, rather, a time where they also lose blood. Then, of course, ladies, adolescent ladies who have their reproductive age, people who are menstruating, that period too is a time where they lose blood. And it could occur. There are ladies whose menstrual flow or cycle goes for a long time, and there are those who has the short time frame, but of course it's heavy. So these are times where they could be experiencing blood loss too. And then there is also some health conditions, like I said earlier, the cancers, endometriosis, that's the PCOS. These are times too where yes, women lose blood, or a patient or someone who has cancers deals with the blood loss, because during cancers there's also time when they experience inability to eat, so it leads to let me just loss of appetite, so it leads to anemia over time. Then there is also, of course, your nutrients. When you're eating, but your nutrients are lacking in essential vitamins and minerals for your body to function. And like I said, it's not just the iron now. Your body also needs the folate and the vitamin B12 to function. So like it's a synergistic thing. They all work together to be able to produce this blood in your body. And of course, there are those that are normally at risk of anemia, apart from those with health conditions. We have the under 5 children, we have the adolescents, we have the women of reproductive age, and of course, the pregnant women. Then factoring in people with health conditions too. So these are people that are normally at risk of anemia, and more attention should be paid to them during this phase of time.
All right, then on WhatsApp, good morning, Cisco Delgado. He says, I don't know what body mass has to do with quantity of blood in the body. If that's the case, then all the fat people should be very good in blood donation.
Yes, there is also the time for blood donation. Frequent blood donation could also lead to anemia. So yes, they could give blood, but then they have to monitor if you want to give, but then they also have to monitor the frequency at which they do it so that they don't become anemic. Yes.
That part is very important. I have shared my story before. I'll share it again. One time, I think about 3 or 4 years, it should be more than 4 years back. It was a blood drive. It was on a beach and they organized. It was so lovely. So I went there. I went to cover the event. So I felt, let me donate. They put me through the test. Long story cut short, turns out I needed blood myself and I was going to donate. I ended up going home with tablets of, those red, I think, ferrous sulfates and all of that. I ended up going home with it. And they warned me sternly to take those things, at least be consistent with it for the entire month and go back to check my PCV. I'm like, what? I wanted to donate blood. It's a good thing they checked me. Otherwise, they would have put in me somebody else's blood that was donated right there.
Well, no, of course they have to check you, be sure, ask you some questions too. I remember when I did mine, they checked your PCV, so they'll ask you questions like, are you in your menstrual period? Are you in your menstrual? When did it stop? So they're able to gauge and they're able to actually, and then check your PCV to actually know if you are fit to donate. Yes.
Okay, now quickly, some of the symptoms that you see in a person or a person exhibits when they are anemic.
Okay. So like I said earlier, there are various types of anemia, and each type of anemia has peculiar stuffs or things that comes with it, peculiar signs and symptoms that comes with it. So for the sickle, vitamin B deficiency. So because the vitamin B deficiency, vitamin B12 in itself deals with the nervous system, it helps with your nerves. When there is an inability or when there is a deficiency of this nutrient in the body, like I said, the pernicious and the megaloblastic anemia, then you notice that there will be a problem with walking because, of course, the nerve is affected. Then there is a problem with the hand. There is always the numbness and tingling of the hand. Then there is also the part where the iron deficiency anemia. The common one or the common symptoms there is the dizziness. We have your hands being white, or go through this, it's white. The tongue could be white. So those are the common ones. And of course, weakness, headache, lightheadedness, and which, like I said, could be from moderate to severe. And then, as the person, if it's people with more severe medical conditions, then those medical conditions should be looked at. And of course, like I said earlier, they range from mild to moderate to severe. So each has its own, and it varies for people. It varies. Each symptoms could vary for persons. So, but the most common ones are the lightheadedness, fatigue. Yes, the being white, like we say, this person is white. Yes, so those are the most common ones.
So dietarily, how do you go about the management?
Okay, so now we're talking about the dietary management of anemia. Okay, so basically a varied diet. Like I said earlier, there is the one with the diet, that's the iron. So a varied diet could actually do this in the sense that you ensure that your meals are balanced, and in the sense that you have your dark green leafy vegetables, you have your legumes, you have your meat, so there are food sources to choose from freely, such as the livers of meat. Those are rich in iron. Then we also have the poultry, we have the eggs, we have the turkey, we have the chicken. Do you understand? So those are, like I said, fortified foods like fortified bread. Yes, those are good sources of dietary sources to prevent or to manage anemia. So a varied diet in all these ensures that your meals contains some protein in a day, leafy vegetables in a day. So a balanced meal to do that. Then there is also the case of an increase in vitamin C food sources to increase absorption of nutrients in the body. So the vitamin C helps to um, 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 help you absorb the nutrients or help absorb iron in the body more readily, so such that it's available for use whenever it is that your body needs it. And by vitamin C foods, I mean bell peppers or your peppers, chili peppers, your fruit, guava, your watermelons, so your fruits, then we also have the consumption of snacks, consumption of nuts for your snacks. So now instead of snacking, saying you just want to snack in between meals, we could do some healthy nuts, such as the almonds, the cashews for your snacking. You understand? So incorporate these things, incorporate these food sources into your every meal, into your daily meal, and then we will see that you will see that there will be improvement in your blood level.
So I just want to take you back again so that you emphasize on it for the clarity of someone listening.
Okay.
You mentioned the heme iron, the non-heme iron, meaning you take iron rich, but then it has not been absorbed into the body because it was not coupled with vitamin C. So please explain that again.
Okay, so when it comes to the iron, there is the heme iron and there is the non-heme iron. So the heme iron are those that are readily absorbable or readily absorbable, yes, for use by the body. And then in these ones, we could be saying the meat, the fish, those are the ones that your body uses readily. So it's always available. Once your body needs it, it's always there. So, but the non-heme iron those are the ones that we find in the legumes. Those are the ones that we find in kidney beans, your normal beans. Now, those ones you need not just to eat it like that. So that's why I remember one time when I was trying to prepare beans. So after preparing beans, I had some diced meat in meat, and somebody said they're all protein, and I'm like, yes, they're protein, but there are different classes of protein. So when you have the beans, so that the heme iron or the meat in it helps the food to be readily absorbable in the sense that your body doesn't need to go through too much to be able to use that to work.
But for someone who is a vegetarian or a vegan, so what they just need to do is consume sources of vitamin C with the food that they've taken from those plant sources.
Yes. And since they are vegetarians, of course, they will not have problem with the fruits. So that is one way. The dark green leafy vegetables like the broccoli, the spinach, that is one way that they can have their blood cells really adequate. So
all right, thank you very much. I would have asked again for the prevention, but in your explanation, you have mentioned bits and pieces of it. Make sure you eat a balanced food, consume fruit, vitamin C alongside your plant's protein and plant sources of iron. So just do that. And if you have any condition, make sure you seek health attention. And
yes, of course. And of course, if it's something beyond just the nutrient deficiency, so such that there is a blood condition like the sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, then of course that would be managed too. So, and these ones are somewhat inherited and they are sometimes long-term condition. So that will be managed throughout life. These ones will be managed throughout life. So, of course, and working hand in hand with your specialist would do you a whole lot of good.
Thank you very much for your time and the explanation this morning. We're grateful. Are you active on social media?
Yes, I am. Now, LinkedIn, I had a problem with my phone, so I'm active back on LinkedIn now. And
what's your handle?
Yes, my name Uba Chimbundon is my handle for now. So creating my account back on social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But for now, you can reach me out on LinkedIn, and I am active really there. Uba Chimbundon.
All right, thank you. My guest has been Chimbundon Uba, and she's a dietitian. We've been talking about the dietary management of anemia. You can find this video on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. And for those who are part of the WhatsApp family, we'll put the link to the video for you on our WhatsApp status so that you can just readily go there. It's like the heme iron. You don't have to couple it with vitamin C. Just click on it and it will be absorbed into your phone screen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show.
In some minutes' time, it will be for the children between 6 to 15 years of age. And if I were them right now, I'll start dialing the number because you know how it can get when you have too many calls coming through at the same time. You're listening to Smooth 98.1.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'm guessing the next time we'll have you in the studio.
Yes, please. You will, by God's grace.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
So I'll share this link with you on WhatsApp so that if you
All
want
right.
to share it, you can always have it.
All right. Thank you very much.